As a veteran, I feel that this company is taking advantage of us.
Claims of mold in military housing. It's a topic that Team 10 has been looking into for the past year. And tonight, a new case. Good evening. I'm Kimberly Hunt.
And I'm Steve Atkinson. That veteran says that she was exposed to toxic mold. She tells our Team 10 investigator Adam Rakusin the experience left her sick, unable to work, and eventually homeless.
For Victoria Phipps, a career in the military wasn't just a calling. It was a family affair.
My dad was in the Army. He's a Vietnam vet, and that just sparked my interest.
After graduating from college, Victoria decided it was time to serve her country. She spent 9 years in the Army.
I spent 5 years as a commanding officer, and then I medically retired out of the Army after that.
Victoria's lawyers say her separation was due to medical issues. After retiring, Victoria ended up at Camp Pendleton. She says the military offered veterans on-base housing through the government contractor Lincoln Military Housing. Victoria says about a month in, that's around March of last year, things with her health started to seem off.
The first doctor's appointment that I had with the VA, I remember telling her about, a really bad earache and neck pain that I couldn't really place.
Victoria says despite frequent doctor's appointments, her health kept getting worse. Fast forward to November 2020. Victoria says she complained to management about a rodent problem. She says a pest control specialist who was in her apartment to check things out found something different.
When he pulled out the stove, there was a rusted spot on the stove along with a patch of mold, as well as a large patch of mold on the cabinet adjacent to the stove.
Victoria filed a lawsuit against 2 of Lincoln Military Housing's subsidiary companies. The lawsuit asks for money for medical costs, loss of earning capacity, and attorney's fees, among other things. The lawsuit claims there was a severe and unacceptable mold problem that developed as a result of Lincoln Military Housing's conduct or lack thereof. The lawsuit says after being notified of the mold, a Lincoln Military Housing maintenance employee used a tool to measure moisture on the cabinet and floor where it was found. The lawsuit claims that worker told Victoria the moisture level was very high and that the cause was a previous leak in the apartment. It says that worker told Victoria there was a big leak that occurred in that apartment before she moved in.
There was some kind of leak in the property that shared a wall with Miss Phipps' property, and this leak caused a significant water intrusion issue in this shared wall, as well as the buildup and development of some black mold.
Christian Clark is one of Victoria's lawyers. According to the lawsuit, Victoria suffered damage to her respiratory system, pain, anxiety, and medical expenses. He says she struggled to work and ended up with no job and no place to live.
The emotional distress, the pain and suffering that you can imagine someone would have when their life is turned upside down in this way.
A spokesperson for Lincoln Military Housing told ABC 10 News, due to privacy and pending litigation, they can't go into specifics regarding the circumstances of individual residents. In a statement, a spokesperson said in part, "We treat all reports of water intrusion or mold as an emergency request, and we thoroughly investigate all resident concerns, including those related to water intrusion or mold, to ensure that they are immediately and appropriately addressed." In court filings, Lincoln Military Housing denied the allegations and explained how they relocated Victoria to a temporary housing unit. They've also fought back, filing their own lawsuit against Victoria, claiming in part she intentionally misrepresented to employees as well as tenants at the location she was being kicked out of base housing, and the leased property was contaminated with black mold. In court documents, they called the veteran's behavior reprehensible and despicable, claiming that she did damage to their reputation in the community and at Camp Pendleton. Victoria's attorneys say it's not true and pointed to what they call a pattern of mold problems. Their lawsuit claims even the temporary housing unit had mold.
We're seeing mold all over properties, right? Properties all throughout California. We're seeing cases outside of California, throughout the U.S.
In May, Team 10 discovered several lawsuits in the San Diego area that claim microbial spores or mold in military housing that's run by Lincoln or one of its subsidiaries or affiliated companies. In those lawsuits, several families claim they got sick living in Lincoln properties.
The problem is they think they're immune. The problem is they're looking at this kind of housing worldwide as an opportunistic way to make money. and they're monetizing what they've inherited with the government in government housing.
Victoria says she wants to create awareness about what she and others have gone through.
It's disgusting. I feel as, as a former service member, but like as a veteran, I feel that this company is taking advantage of us, and that's hurtful, right?
Adam Rakusin, ABC 10 News.
Victoria sent a letter to members of Congress detailing her experience and asking for policy changes to help prevent mold exposure in military housing. A spokesperson for Congressman Mike Levin's office says that they did receive her letter but do not have plans to introduce a bill at this time. We want to note, according to Lincoln's website, the company changed its name to Liberty Military Housing.